Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's great to join you, Ellie.
Awesome. So let's get started off with the easy question. Why are you running?
Wisconsin needs new leadership. We have a great opportunity here in 2026 to set a new direction for the state. I mean, you look at a variety of things that people, I think, are important to the people of the state of Wisconsin. Educational attainment is down. We're now worse off than Mississippi in terms of educating children in Wisconsin, something that was really unthinkable years ago. And energy costs among the highest in the Midwest. We're ranked in the bottom 10 for creating a new business in this state. There's a lot of ways in which Wisconsin is not keeping up with the states that are really prosperous in America. We can do better. We need good leadership. I believe I can provide it.
And so you're kind of seen as a Trump loyalist. How do you think that that will play in a purple state here in Wisconsin?
Well, I think once people get to know me, they'll know I'm my own man. Now, the president has done some good things for America, and I certainly support his agenda. But they're going to find out that I'm my own man. I'll make my own decisions in regards to what needs to get done here. I mean, my roots are deep in Wisconsin. Grew up on a dairy farm in western Wisconsin. My wife and I raised our children up in the Northwoods. And so I'm Wisconsin through and through. And those values are going to come through to the people of the state of Wisconsin. But I have a track record of results. And I think that's what people are looking for. We can do better in Wisconsin, and we're going to do better if I'm governor.
And so to kind of play off of that, this is the first time we're seeing an open race in about 16 years. So how are you hoping to get the Trump voters out for you, as well as those folks in the Northwoods?
So they were a key voting bloc, right, in November of last year. And we were able to get those people to turn out with a strong message about we need to stand up for working people of America, in this case, the working people of Wisconsin. We're going to deliver that same message this time. But it is a big challenge for us because many of them are occasional voters or have been occasional voters in the past. We need them to be voting. But I'll tell you a group of people that I think are really going to turn out here in the future for Republicans, especially in light of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, is you're seeing a real movement on college campuses of young people who really gravitated to that message of faith and family and conservatism. I think they're going to be a real force in the 2026 election.
So how are you going to kind of attract those voters?
We're going to go to the college campuses, and I have been doing that. The other thing that I'm going to do, I have a 72 county strategy. You look at Dane County here, and we've had Republican candidates, quite honestly, that have ignored Dane County. You cannot ignore Dane County. It's the fastest growing county in the state. And I think we have a good message. In regards to education, I mean, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, you want to have a good education for your child. That's not happening in Wisconsin. Only 31% of fourth graders can read at grade level at this point. We need to change that. I have a plan to do it.
And are you looking for Trump's endorsement in this race?
If the president chooses to endorse me, I'll certainly accept it.
And so obviously now you're one of the biggest names in this race, especially in the Republican primary here. But it could shape up to be a pretty wide race as we're seeing on the Democratic side. What do you think of a large primary?
Oh, I welcome anyone that wants to get into the race. I'm going to stay focused on what I can control. I've been in these races before, including tough primaries, and it's really important to stay focused on what you can control. But my message is going to be a general election message. It does no good to win a primary, but then not win the general election. I will be focused on the entire state of Wisconsin from the very beginning here, talking about the things that we can change. We should set higher educational standards. Let's have honest report cards. Let's lower the cost of energy. Let's make home ownership more affordable. Let's put ourselves back in the top 10 states to be able to create a business. All those things we can do.
And so I kind of want to move into your priorities here. In your campaign video that you released this week, you made a couple of promises to voters. That includes freezing property taxes and keeping transgender students out of girls' sports. How do you plan to make those priorities into things we could actually see in Wisconsin?
Well, I think they're really common sense values, like boys not being in girls' sports or in girls' bathrooms. That's just common sense, and most Wisconsinites agree with that. We will implement that. And just the whole woke nonsense that we have seen that has taken over some states, it ends day one if I am the governor.
And how does it end day one?
We're no longer going to allow transgender students to be able to We're not going to allow boys to be able to play girls' sports. That's not going to happen.
And so moving to kind of a different topic here, in the state legislature, you voted to ban abortion after 20 weeks. Now that's still the law in Wisconsin. Do you still support that?
Yes. So 10 years ago, I voted for that bill that bans abortions at 5 months or 20 weeks, as you said. I stand by that vote.
And so as abortion stands in our state now, what do you make of that? Are there things that you would like to see change with where that stands?
So the current law is the 20-week bill, or 5 months. And I stand by that bill, and I will uphold that legislation as the governor. I do not plan any changes.
And moving now to some kind of more federal topics here. Now, over the summer, you voted in favor of passing the president's spending and tax cuts. Now, the Wisconsin Department of Health and Services estimates that more than 270,000 Wisconsinites will lose their health insurance because of it. What do you say to those Wisconsinites right now?
270,000 Wisconsinites are not going to lose that unless they're here illegally, or else they're working able-bodied, or the people that are able-bodied that should be working. Anyone that this program that was designed for, whether it's someone with a disability, pregnant moms, seniors that qualify for the program, they will not lose their coverage. The Democrats are demagoguing that issue. That is incorrect. In fact, we strengthen the program by making sure that those who have been receiving improper payments and should not be on the program, getting them off from the program, like illegal aliens and those who are able-bodied. Also, we strengthen the program for Wisconsin in that we put $50 billion into a stabilization fund for rural hospitals. We heard from rural hospitals and we answered the call.
And so DHS also estimates that the law will cost Wisconsinites millions of dollars every year. One estimate says it'll cost more than $72 million just to provide employment and training service to Wisconsinites on Medicaid so they can meet the new work requirements. How will the state manage that without rising taxes on Wisconsinites?
Under a Tiffany administration, we are not going to have that problem. I don't know where they're making that number up from. I would have to see the data behind what they're saying that's going to do. But if you have able-bodied people that now have to work, they can do that. And you talk about the job training. We have tech colleges and other institutions that can do that training. They're already set up and able to do that.
Now, I have talked to some people. I mean, you said that there's 270,000 that are illegal immigrants and things like that, but I've talked to folks who can't work right now and are here legally who are at risk of losing their coverage. Folks like that, are there solutions? Are there ways that they can stay on coverage, or is this kind of a lost game for them?
If the program was set up for them and they qualify, then they should receive that coverage.
Is there any leeway that you as governor would be able to give to folks who are kind of at a loss right now?
Well, just make sure, come in, fill out your application. If you believe that you're being denied improperly by the state of Wisconsin, then let's do that review and make sure that we're covering all those bases. And if you are due coverage, you're going to receive coverage. We are going to preserve and protect. If I'm governor, we will preserve and protect the Medicaid program for those who are most needy.
And so moving now to tariffs, which was another kind of big topic this summer, especially Wisconsin business owners kind of are already facing challenges with increasing costs due to those tariffs. Is there a point at which you would stop supporting the president's policies if it starts really impacting Wisconsinites?
So if you look at the inflation indexes that are out there, it does not show that tariffs are raising inflation. It is time that we defend America and Wisconsin. We have lost so much manufacturing here over the last 30 years. I think about the paper mills and other businesses that have went out and moved overseas. It is time to defend manufacturing and bring it back to Wisconsin. And when you look at countries like Brazil, Canada, others that have tariffs as high as 300%, I mean, they've been kicking sand in our face for a couple decades. That should not be the case. I mean, think about it. We're the dairy state, and Canada has tariffs that are as high as 300% on dairy products. That's unfair to dairy farmers here in the state of Wisconsin. It's time that we had a fair trade policy that defends America.
So it's fair to say that you are in full support of these tariffs?
I'm in support of the president's policies as he's put them in place. And I think, I mean, it has taken us 20 or 30 years here to lose all these industries from America. It's going to take us a little while to get them back, but make no mistake, we need to get them back because we are in a race with China of who is going to be the preeminent country in the world for the 21st century. Communist China seeks hegemony on a worldwide basis. Are we going to allow them to do that, or are we going to defend America? I choose to defend America and Wisconsin.
And talking a little bit about these retaliatory tariffs here, now from other countries, the U.S. are impacting farmers here, particularly soybean farmers. Now, U.S. tariffs on exported goods are also impacting farmers' abilities to get equipment they need. Now, in that campaign video, you said also that one of your promises is to protect Wisconsin farmers. How will you do that while supporting the president's tariffs?
Well, you mentioned soybeans. The administration just signed an agreement with Taiwan last week to take a significant amount of soybeans. I think as we see these trade agreements that are struck, including like with Vietnam, which has already been done, they are buying a significant amount of American commodities. And so the president has a priority through this whole thing in regards to the American farmer. He knows. And we're going to get good trade deals for the farmers of the state of Wisconsin.
So moving back to this race now, let's kind of talk money here. How much are you looking to raise?
We're planning to raise $30 to $40 million.
Where's that money going to come from?
And by the way, we won't outraise the Democrats. I mean, Democrats have almost unlimited money at this point with the coastal elites and how much money that they're putting in. Look at some of the statewide races. People from outside of Wisconsin have put in as much as 90% of the money. But we're going to raise enough money to compete, and I'm looking forward to that competition.
And where is that money going to come from for your?
A lot of it's going to come from here in Wisconsin, but Democrats have nationalized these races. We need to do the same. We need to get national funders that are going to put money into this race, and I will be doing that.
Yeah, and this, I mean, state Supreme Court race we saw in spring, we saw Elon Musk had a huge hand in backing Brad Schimmel. Are you looking for folks like that to get behind your campaign?
We're going to be raising money however we can legally from people throughout the country and the state of Wisconsin. Now, my first priority is to raise it from Wisconsinites. Those are the first people that I am calling, but I'm sure there's people from outside the state that will want to contribute, and as long as it is a legal donation, we accept it.
And so now to kind of move to the other candidates in this, what do you make of the Democratic field so far?
There's not a dime's difference between them. I mean, they are going to stand for the same things: sanctuary cities, boys and girls sports. They accept the educational decline here in Wisconsin, or they would have done something about it over the last 7 or 8 years. I mean, they stand for the things that has taken America in decline. We need to reverse that. So it really doesn't matter who my opponent will end up being.
Well, then let's move to the Republican primary now. What do you think of the two candidates that have announced so far?
You know, the little bit I know about them seem like good people, but I'm solely focused on the general election of November of 2026. We're going to be focused on that. That's the message I'm going to be delivering to the people of the state of Wisconsin. This is not about winning a primary. It's about winning the general election, and we're going to take a message of hope and opportunity to them. I love this state. This is a great state. I've lived here my whole life, and this state needs leadership from someone who deeply understands Wisconsin. I'm that person. I'm going to deliver that message to the voters.
Well, thank you for taking the time to sit down with us today.
It's great to join you.